So we're here to talk about the ChiPy Mentorship app, as we've said. So what is the ChiPy Mentorship app? So to understand this, it is helpful to have a brief history of ChiPy Mentorship, and we'll keep it brief. So from 2014 to 2019, ChiPy ran what we'll call the old mentorship program. This was a really structured program that would pair up individual mentees with individual mentors, and the mentees would work on a project with the help of the mentor. They would blog about the experience, and the whole cohort of mentors and mentees would do project night workshops together. It was really great. Ben was a mentor twice, I was a mentee, and we both got a lot out of this experience. So the program did have some weaknesses. In particular, it was kind of capacity limited. It requires 13 weeks of commitment from mentors and mentees. You can only join twice a year. And so at the end of the year, last year, ChiPy made the decision to discontinue the old mentorship program in favor of two other offerings. So the first one is apprenticeship type offerings, and I think the best example of this one is the Web Guild, where less experienced Python programmers and more experienced Python programmers can work alongside each other on a real project that people use. For the Web Guild, that's actually chippy.org, so you have probably used it. And the second offering is for people who really like the one-on-one aspect of mentoring and wanted to be able to focus on specific skills. And it was that we were going to create an app to connect people so that they could organize their own mentorship relationships. So talking about what the app does, what do you need to self-organize a mentorship relationship? You need to be able to find someone who has the skills and experiences you're interested in. So we built in a search feature. And you need to find someone who also wants to be a mentor. So, and you need to tell them who you are and what they're looking for. And you need to be able to ask them to mentor you. So that's pretty much what the app helps you do. Ben can talk about what we built.
Right, so before we talk about exactly all the technology involved here, I wanted to shout out to everybody who has contributed so far. So Zax, you probably know him. He ran the mentorship program before this, and he's been the project manager on for this project. Ray has been a helpful advisor throughout the whole thing. And in terms of developers, there's me, Emily, Heather, Fazil, and Ali have all contributed code. And I wanted to make a special shout out to Josh, who's been our first contributor after the launch of the app to get a pull request merged. So we're using GitHub to submit pull requests and to create tickets and to plan out our sprints using their projects feature. We're using GitHub Actions to run our test suites before we allow pull requests to get merged. And in the future, we'd also like to use that to run our deployments. So at the end of the sprint, we ship our code over to Heroku, which is running our servers in production. And then all the data is being stored in production in Postgres, and we're using Django as the web server. Most of the front end has been styled using Bootstrap. And two other important tools, we're using OAuth to create new users and log them in on GitHub. And we're using SendGrid to send email notifications out to our users. So when you first sign up, you're going to be asked some questions, fill out a biography, and add some skills. So here's the profile page of me after I have filled out some information. So in this box, you can see the biography that I've added, and there's an edit button where you can change it. Below it, you can see my skills. So there's want help and can help. In both boxes, you can add skills and rate yourself on a 1 to 5 scale. You can edit them with those edit skill buttons. The important part about want help and can help is that can help are skills that you can help in. So putting skills here helps people looking for a mentor find people with the skills they're looking to be helped with, to improve on. And then want help is the opposite. If you are a mentor, or if you're a mentee and you maybe want mentors to come and find you, you can put things there and they can search for you through there. So in this view, we're on the search page, and I should start by mentioning now we're logged in as Emily. So Emily is looking for a mentor, and there's a search box here where she can type in her search term. So in this case, she's looking for help building a mentorship website. There's a radio button. So like I mentioned earlier, you can search for mentors or mentees. After you search, you get a listing of results. The search box will search based on name, the bio, and the skills. And then from there, you can go ahead and click on the mentor, and you'll come see their profile. So you'll notice this looks mostly the same as the profile page when we were logged in as me, but now we're logged in as Emily, and we see a new section where we can request Ben to become our mentor. So if we can go ahead and click on that, and we'll see a box pop up where we can send a message to him if we decide that we want him to be our mentor. You should take some time, fill this out with something thoughtful, explain what you're looking for, maybe like what kind of commitment in terms of the mentorship program you're looking for, and then go ahead and submit your request. After you do that, Ben is going to get an email immediately that you've made the request, and you can look at your request page to see all the requests that you've been sent or received. And you can see right now on the right-hand side there, we have a pending request over to Ben. So Ben gets that email. He gets a link to Emily's user profile and a link to this request. So this is the view that Ben will see when he clicks on that request. And from here, we can see I can see the message that Emily sent me, and I can choose to accept or reject, or actually ignore the request. So if I accept it, this is Emily's view again. She'll see that I've accepted in her view, and she'll also get an email that I have accepted her request, and she'll get my contact information, and I will have her contact information at this point as well, and we can start setting up appointments to meet together. And that is pretty much where the flow of this app ends.
And now that we sort of talked you through what the app looks like, just thought we'd share some of the exciting tools that we used in the process. The first one is Django has built-in Postgres's full text search library, and it does some pretty cool things. So like one of the things it does is it normalizes lexemes, which is linguistic speaks, for understanding the roots of words in English. So for example, if you say, I want to learn how to program, and you search for program, it's also going to recognize if someone has in their bio, I am a programmer, or I love programming, or I write programs. So that's really a lot smarter than I think something we could write quickly. And then the other thing that it gives you that's really nice is that it gives you an easy way to rank search results by relevance. So that's what we use when you search for a mentor. It shows you the most relevant mentors up front. And another tool we used is the Social Auth Django plugin, which let us pretty easily use another service. In this case, it's GitHub, to create users. It lets us decide the scope of what we want from the other service and how we use that information in user creation. And then the third thing that we really liked was GitHub Actions, which gave us a really simple continuous integration experience. So we set it up so that as soon as anyone submits a pull request, it runs our full test suite, and it'll only allow people to merge if the tests all pass. And we're looking into using GitHub Actions for our deployment as well. So if you were paying attention to ChiPy Slack over the weekend, you'll have noticed a few announcements, and also Ali just mentioned it now about us launching the app. And if you're like me, you haven't really had that many chances to really launch an app and then have people immediately use it day one. So we thought that that would be an interesting experience to talk about and how we approached it. So the first thing we did in terms of launching the app was actually on May 24th, so a while ago now. And at the time, the ChiPyMentor.org domain, which we were using, was pointing at the old ChiPy Mentorship program website. So with the sage advice of Ray Berg, we dropped all the tables and deployed our current app, and we did that in maintenance mode. So if you navigated anywhere on the ChiPyMentor.org domain, it would show you our homepage, except with a giant coming soon banner on top of it. And then we told everyone that we were going to launch on July 4th, and that was actually a lie. We launched on July 3rd, silently, made sure everything was in pretty good working order. And then by July 4th, we were ready to announce it to the world that we had launched. And the great thing was that people did immediately start using the app. People created accounts, sent a few requests. And the other thing people did was they said, hey, this isn't working. Can you please fix this? So we spent our weekend hitting up the most critical bug fixes. And after that, we moved to preparing this talk. and here we are today. So far, Ben, do you want to talk about the stats that we've got?
Sure. So far, and this is as of yesterday, so there might be some more right now. We have 39 users. We have 31 users who have filled out their profile. We've already had 9 mentorship requests and 4 of them accepted. And we have 27 tickets in GitHub, so some work to do.
So what's next now that we've launched? Well, first, everyone who is interested in mentorship, you should use the app. As we said, you can sign up using your GitHub account at chippymentor.org. There's also a link on the chippy.org homepage to the mentorship app if you can't remember chippymentor.org. And then once you've signed up, you should fill out your profile with your bio and your skills so that people can find you and understand what you're there for. And then you can search for mentors or mentees. And when you find one you like, you can send them a request. If they're interested in working with you, you can get their contact information and you can start organizing meetups. And what those meetups look like and how many there are is really up to you. You can meet as many or as few times as you want. Just remember, these mentorship relationships fall under the ChiPy Code of Conduct, so please be a decent human being.
So if you've been watching this and you think you might want to help us out with coding the app, we host meetings on Slack in the Buddy Mentorship group every Thursdays at 6:30 p.m., except for when there's a main meeting like today. We host all of our code and organize our project on GitHub in the Chicago Python organization. There you can flag issues, fix bugs, help us write documentation, and of course, write new code and new features. So who are we looking for? We're looking for anyone who wants to help with an ongoing open source project. We have a lot of design work to do on the front end. So if you go to CSS, that would be a great help. And we have lots of continued feature work to do on Django. So before I finish up here, I want to mention that if you have any questions, start typing them in the live comments channel now. So what will we be working on next? So some of the new features that we're working on are the ability to manage the availability of your profile. So say you've started a mentorship program and you've reached capacity, you can't mentor any more people at this time. Either that would be a switch you can flip to turn off your profile until you're ready to take on new mentees. In-app notifications, in addition to those log, so that mentees can showcase the great work that they're doing, any projects that they've completed or are currently working on, and better searching capabilities so that we can help match mentors and mentees up based on their schedule and physical location so that they can meet up more easily. We're working on redesigning the front end, improving our testing infrastructure, and of course, fixing any bugs that come up. So with that, we're on to the Q&A.
Awesome, that was great. Can everybody give Ben and Emily a round of applause? Like, you put so much hard work into it, and it's like, it really shows. Like, the website is fantastic. So yeah, if you do have questions, please ask them in the chat window on the left. I actually do have some questions. So what have you learned working on this project?
You want to take that, Emily?
Yeah, so I mean, we both definitely took different things from it because Ben is working as a professional web developer for a while, and I never have. So it was really interesting to sort of, for me, understand how you collaborate with others on a system like GitHub, how you manage issues and sort of who does what, and sort of how you review and test your code. But also it was just really fun to immerse ourselves in Django, and just sort of, it's a pretty deep framework and it gives you a lot of things for free. And it's always exciting to sort of think about something and go, oh my God, I have to write a search algorithm. And then you'll be like, actually, no, not at all. We just have that. So that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, I absolutely love Django for that. Ben, how about you? What have you learned?
It was also my first time using Django, so it was cool to learn how to do things the Django way. And I think it was my first time working on a community project like this. So the skills involved there was definitely new.
Yeah, just a shout out to Zax for all that fantastic project manager work he did. Like, I just remember seeing those tickets just being cranked out. Like, the man is a machine. But like, while we're waiting for questions to come in, what are some of your favorite features of Django? Emily, do you want to start?
Yeah, so this is a super basic part of it, but I really like the class-based views idea in general. They're sometimes kind of hard to debug if you don't really know what you're looking for, but just being able to write something and then have like the models automatically flow through, and to be able to just have a pagination feature built in and to sort of extend these classes and make them do what you want is really nice and pretty easy. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in addition to all the built-in stuff, just the ecosystem around, like setting up the user creation through GitHub, it's just a plugin you install and it's up and working.
Yeah, it is absolutely fantastic. Like, I've been working on the ChiPy Slack bot, which is like written in Flask, and I'm like looking at all my imports. Everything I'm importing is like built into Django, so I don't really know if I made the right decision, but like live and learn, right? I think just before we do let you go, do you have any calls to actions? How can people start getting signed up to become either a mentor or a mentee?
Yeah, so like I think we walked through how to do it. You go to the chipymentor.org or chippy.org and click mentorship. And from there, if you hit login, you get redirected to GitHub, where you authorize GitHub to log you in, and then you'll have a user account created and you're ready to go.
And if you don't have a GitHub account, you should create one. It'll be really helpful for you.
Yeah. Right now you need a GitHub account. We're working on one of the features in the future will be just email-based logins as well.
Okay, yeah, I guess I do have one question. When you is there any tech debt item that you like sort of like thinking back, you're like, I can't believe I did it this way, but I have to get this project out, so like we'll just leave it in there?
Yeah, there is some jQuery I put in there that I really would prefer it to be React. So that would be the piece.
Awesome. So I feel like there's an open issue. So if anybody wants to learn some React and help out, I think we are looking for some help. So thanks again. And can we get another round of applause in the chat for Ben and Emily?